Episode number 27, The Bellows, Why You Should Hire a Production Manager.
All right, cut to edge of stage. Great. All right, color frost.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Check.
Stand by, please. House to half, house out, letting cues 1 through 10, sound cues 1 through 10.
Hello and welcome back to The Title Block. I'm your host, Michael Cruz, and on this episode we present yet another session of The Bellows, a monthly informal discussion about theatre production that takes place at Theatre Passe Muraille in Toronto, Ontario. On this third special presentation of The Bellows, recorded on February 22nd, 2016, the panel discusses all the myriad reasons you need to hire a production manager when you are producing theatre really of any size. As is often the case, many small theatre producers can rationalize the need for a PM, with most of the reasons being economic. But in fact, I think this panel gives some great reasons why you need a production manager for those very same economic reasons. The panel was hosted by stage carpenter Kevin Hutson and included from left to right in your ears Eleanor Antoncic, production manager at the Tarragon Theatre, Remington North, the director of facilities and production at the Theatre Centre Kaitlin Hickey, freelance production manager and designer, and Ryan Wilson, the head carpenter at Young People's Theatre. Like our previous recording, this one was streamed live through Periscope, and we had a few diehard listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. Instructions to join our next one, as well as full bios of all the presenters, can be found at thetitleblock.com. And of course, it does cost a few bucks to record these live events, including about $100 maybe in mic rentals, on top of the capital cost of my other recording equipment. So if you enjoy these discussions and find them helpful, and you want me to continue recording them for you, please consider going to patreon.com and supporting the show. For a couple of bucks an episode, you can support the conversation about theatre in Canada. And now we can go back to The Bellows, joining Pip Bradford and Christopher Ross, introducing the topic.
Welcome to The Bellows. This is The Bellows. You are all at The Bellows. Who is The Bellows? Who is The Bellows?
Well, the organizing people for The Bellows are Christopher Ross, who's standing here on my right. Chris is the backspace technician here at Theatre Passe Muraille, and also a production manager and a general doer of things and person of the arts. And up there running this panel tonight and being our moderator is Kevin Hutson, who is the head scenic carpenter at Tarragon. He wanted me to make sure I said scenic. And also a doer of things about town.
Yeah, a terrible production manager, for the record.
Yeah, apparently he's very bad.
We're all doers of things. This is Pip Bradford. If I run the backspace and Kevin runs the shop at Tarragon, then Pip Bradford runs this town. Pip is also a general doer of things, many things. She is both a production manager, a technician, a director sometimes. I'm sure she designs things, probably.
Plenty of things.
A couple times.
Yeah, like she knows a lot of things. Real important.
Is it my turn to talk next?
It is, almost certainly.
Okay, great. What is it?
What is-
Okay, so great.
Yeah.
So the Bellows is also all of you. Ultimately, the way we envision the Bellows is as a monthly mixer where we invite the entire production theater community, and actually the theater community at large. We would love it if more actors and writers and directors showed up. That would be great. Because we also want to spend some time talking about production things. We feel production has been a field that is very shrouded in shadow, if I may. And I may. And so we felt it was great to have a space where we could all just kind of talk about production-related issues and enlighten people who don't know things, people who are fresh out of school, or even people who just don't know anything about what we do.
Yeah, and also to come and hang out, obviously, because we got a whole panel and everything, and you'll all learn some great things. But also afterwards, we just kind of want to chill and see the people we don't see enough, or we only see in a work context or whatever. We can all have a drink or a coffee or whatever and chill out.
And then afterwards, if I like you, I'll offer you a job.
That happens
All the time.
It's like almost guaranteed.
It's not a guarantee.
So,
Almost.
format of the night, basically, Kevin's going to do some introductions to the panel. Kevin will probably start off with some questions. We're going to turn this mic around, and I'm going to remember to do that this time. And then, literally, at any point, at all points, please come up to the mic and just, like, if you've got a question, ask that question, because we're really hoping this is going to be more of a conversation. Like, we know a lot of the people in this room, so we don't got to tell you why you need a production manager. We're going to talk about why we need production managers. if that makes sense. Before we start, I would like to give some thank yous. I would like to acknowledge the traditional caretakers of this land, the Mississaugas of New Credit, the Anishinaabeg peoples, the Huron-Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee. I would like to thank TPM for giving us a space and letting us, hang out, sell some beer and talk. I would like to acknowledge our wonderful bartender, Jared. And Brittany in front of house downstairs. Thank you so much.
Brittany!
Please tip your bartenders well. I will say that multiple times throughout the night. I would like to acknowledge Title Block, the podcast, who is live streaming and periscoping and podcasting this right now. ThetitleBlock.com is their website. Yeah.
He has business cards.
Really nice
I would
business
like to
cards.
acknowledge Steam Whistle because it is $4 Steam Whistles tonight. So please, that's true, right, Jared? Yeah, that's true. Because it's true now. Yeah, please, guys, buy some $4 Steam Whistle if you so choose. If you want to do that, you should. And I would like to just, because I'm going to forget this note, it's not in order here, but please, I'm sorry. Please come to the bar night next week as well. TPM is running a bar night. It is not a Bellows night, but TPM is also trying to open up the bar just for people to come and hang out. Night? Yeah, they're doing a bar night
that's so
next Monday. It's the leap year bar night, if that's correct. Jiv? Yeah, it is. It's the leap bar night. There'll also probably be $4 Steam Whistles. Jiv? Yeah.
Yeah.
You just assume there's $4 Steam Whistles whenever come, I think.
I don't.
Whatever. Anyway, do you want to introduce the panel? Or
I would just like to say that the panel tonight is about production management and working with production managers and why we should all do so.
Without
Fantastic.
further
Take it away, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for coming. My name is Kevin Hutson. Tonight's panel is about production management. It's a very broad, ill-defined discipline at the best of times, as well as a very thankless and important job. Some artists seem to think they don't need one all of the time, and we're here to tell you that you totally do. You might not know that you do, but you totally do. I realize there's a lot of friendly faces here, and you're all mostly on my side. It kind of feels like we're just yelling at one or two of you. But hopefully by the end of the evening, you'll understand why. So we have a panel of extremely useful people, and I'm going to make them introduce themselves. On my left, who are you and what do you do?
I am Eleanor, and I am the production manager at the Tarragon.
My name's Remington North. I'm the Director of Facilities and Productions at the Theatre Centre.
I'm Kaitlin Hickey. I'm a freelance production manager and designer.
My name's Ryan Wilson. I'm the head scenic carpenter at YPT.
Excellent, excellent. So as I said, it's an ill-defined discipline, and I realize this is a bit open-ended, but if you could give me your job description, either as it's written or as you understand it, I think that would be illuminating. Take it away.
Yeah, okay. So as the Director of Facilities and Productions, on the production side, obviously, I'm generating budgets, I'm monitoring budgets, sourcing gear and equipment, as well as people and technical collaborators to work on productions. And on the facilities side, I'm overseeing the general maintenance of the building, its services, its utilities, the tradesmen who come in to repair and do further construction on our new building, as well as kind of like generating long-term plans for developing storage systems, which always is an issue for every theater everywhere, and just kind of generally taking care of the place, occasionally mopping a floor, cleaning up poop, or whatever.
Who's pooping on your face?
You don't want to know.
No,
Yeah, it comes under a director's list because none of the workers want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested in hearing yours, actually.
I pretty much have everything he said except for
Right.
the poop.
Yeah. Well, because recently, briefly, we had a facilities manager.
Yes.
Do we even want to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay.
So in the history of Tarragon, in various incarnations, we do have a building manager, we did have a facility manager, and it's for the last maybe 15, 20 years has fallen under the guise of the production manager to manage that person. So along, with everything else that comes under the standard production umbrella, it's, creating budgets for the facility, tradesmen, overseeing the lobby renovation a couple years ago. So, learning fire code, building code, that kind of stuff, which more often than not, if your company can't afford both, facility and production, you have to do both. So.
Yeah. No, so these are venue issues, and I know the two of you have managed a production from time to time. Now, when it comes to the freelance side of things, what's the difference? What do you get out of PMing that a venue PM might not?
I've only worked for 2 companies, so I've done 7 shows with Fujian Theatre Company and Asian Canadian Theatre Company. They made me honorary Asian now, so I can continue working for them. And I've done 2 shows with Theatre Smash. And then I think we did a co-pro. I can't keep track anymore. But so I've really only worked for 2 companies. And in what I call myself, or what my job description is in those indie situations, is really to work for the producer and to try to get the show up as best as they want and as much as they want to spend on it as reasonably as I can to keep the artist happy.
Yeah.
I try to imagine working for the producer and not for the designer.
Okay.
Because when I'm at YPT, it's easier as a carpenter to work for the designer.
Yeah.
I want to do everything that I need to do to keep you happy. You've got this idea. I'm going to work for you. I'm going to make it good. As long as the designer's happy, I'm doing a good job. Yeah. Usually is, most shops, most builders, a head of wardrobe, a head of props, is the same kind of standard. But when I'm the production manager, the set designer could be super happy, but we're probably like bleeding money and spending and buying everything they want.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me, and I try to change and tell myself that I work for the producer or the producers or the company or whatever.
Right.
So that I can keep myself from just wanting to build a really cool set and spend all my time doing the set, because I do sets pretty well. I don't do things like video well. Yeah. So I have to remember that I'm working for not just the set designer.
Right.
That's interesting, because I would say that I, as a freelance PM and someone who tours, I would say I work for the director, or I work for the show. And that covers a lot of needs. Financially, you can't be fiscally irresponsible. But I think you have, as a PM, a duty to uphold the artistic integrity of the show. And I think that usually falls with the director. So I would say I work for the director.
Right. Yeah. Well, that gets on to something I was going to ask about later. Who do you find yourself working most closely with when you're in that PM role? Who do you go to first when?
Michelle Ramsey.
Always. Just whatever show.
Just whatever happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, she's done 6 of the Fujian shows I've done, and she has more production management experience than I do. She was doing it before I started. And she, as someone who's at the artistic table, when I have an idea, I can run it by her, and I don't have to run it by the whole artistic table. And I get the input and kind of an okay, and she's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It always sounds like a good idea. I have a good idea in my head, I thought it through, it sounds like a good idea. I check with her, and the lighting designer often, at least I was taught in school, because the guy who ran Ryerson and still does is a lighting designer, or was. So he used to tell us that everything affects the lighting designer, and the lighting designer has to fix everything.
Couldn't you say that about any discipline, though?
No, because it's true. It sometimes can be true, and at least when I do indie shows with Michelle, she's really involved in everything, and I don't know where I was going with that thought, but.
Well, I think you and I could make What Would Ramsey Do bracelets and sell those, and that would be for sure. Yep. For sure.
And she has to make the show work. She has to make the show work good, and she has to cue the show. And when there's a director who doesn't really have all the cues figured out, the lighting designer is the one who has to be like, okay, and then what are we going to do next? And then what are we going to see on stage next? And then what's next? The set designer, they don't know. They're not involved in that. The sound designer is usually composing or mixing, or he has headphones on so he can't hear what people are talking about.
Well, could I answer your question?
Yeah, please do. I wish you would.
So if you're looking at kind of the season overall, I would say half my time is spent, working most closely with the GM, and then the other half working with the TD and the rest of the department.
Okay.
Because I think Remington and I are probably in the same situation where, you may be working on one show that's right now in tech, but right now I'm working on all of next season and the next show that's coming up in the main space.
Right.
So, it really does on a daily basis go very much up and down.
Right.
One show, whole season.
Yeah, so kind of like the interface between the sort of money and long-term planning and
Yes.
the immediate production.
Totally. Yeah.
What we're opening next week.
Last
kind of
week
thing.
I worked way more on 2018 than I did on the 2 shows that were in my space.
It's preposterous. You know how long that is from now?
It's forever away.
Right, it's forever away.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, so picking up
Probably
on
change anyway.
Michelle Ramsey, because we should always talk about Michelle Ramsey. I've known a lot of shows to have a LD PM, like a lighting designer and production manager, and I don't know if that's just a matter of the lighting designer has their head up most of the time, literally and figuratively, or whether there's something else there.
I think it has a lot to do with logistic demand.
Yeah.
And in a lot of spaces, lighting is one of the larger logistic demands on a venue.
Yeah.
And so, as far without enormous sets, kind of excluding those are going to be usually the big costs.
Right.
And I feel like there's a lot, there's a lot of logistic and paperwork kind of crossover between people who are practically and pragmatically thinking about those things.
Right. Right on. So taking your PM hats off for a bit, like when you walk into a process, what do you need from a PM? Like what do you expect working with other PMs? What do you expect from them? In terms of leadership, in terms of paperwork, in terms of like what's the thing you like, oh, he's going to give me that?
Concise schedule and how much money I have.
Yeah. More or less.
More or less.
Yeah.
A calm demeanor,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Totally. Yeah. Someone who's into like collaborative, calm problem solving.
Yeah.
Inevitably, there's going to be big problems or snags or whatever, and it's just nice to have someone in the room who's like chill and will listen to everyone and then just work through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say that's 90% of my job.
Yeah. Putting out fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much they interfere in the shop?
Pardon?
How much they interfere in your shop? Because I hardly ever see Eleanor,
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest. Which maybe I'm doing a good
So
job.
You kind of like
YPT is complicated because I would like to make the argument that Alexis Busette, the technical director, is the production manager. She makes a schedule, she calls the crew, she runs the crew, she manages the money, she spends the money.
Right.
We don't have a production manager.
Do you have a DOP?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he walks around calling himself the production manager.
Right.
And I haven't told him to his face that he's not. Because he'll punch me.
Right.
But
That's not nice.
so we have another problem is that they moved all the offices and the administrators across the street. So
Oh,
they
really?
literally
Are not around.
don't work in the building. But
Oh, I had
Alexis,
no
the
idea.
technical director, stayed in the building. So she's the only administrator who's in the building.
What do they do with those offices?
Turn them into classroom spaces.
Right. We should talk about this another time.
Which is great. So we can do more programming and stuff, which is awesome. And I can
Okay.
paint in spaces, and we can build in spaces, and we can decorate things. It's great. But she's running the whole operation.
Yeah.
And when I was at Soul Pepper, it was the same way. The TDs aren't the TDs; they're the PM TDs.
Right.
I went to one production meeting when I was at Soul Pepper. I was the assistant carpenter for 3 seasons. And I filled in for a little while. And it was like 5 department heads on one side, 5 artists on the other side, and 1 TD at the end of the table. And their title is technical director. They do lots of CAD and lots of drawings, but they're the PM TD.
Right.
And then there's a DOP who has an office with a glass window
Right.
that looks out on their corral. And then they have a production
I resent
manager.
that.
But you're not a DOP. You're very much a PM, I would say. Like, so, well, this is
Eleanor's
worth
kind
getting
of the
into.
only
yeah.
one that I know of who is in a theater with a wall and a roof that still uses the title production manager.
Right.
Like the Theatre Centre skipped it in their growth or in their whatever development because we don't use that term anymore.
Totally.
Right. Well, this is worth getting into because one of the questions I was asked to bring up is what a PSM is, what a DOP is. And I know there's a lot of crossover between TD and PM on a small scale. So it's definitely worth going into this. So for the record, a director of production, what do we expect from a director of production as distinct from a production manager?
I mean, really, the distinction is like establishing long-term production budgets. And the reason that I'm not the PM at the theater center is because we are not exclusively a producing body.
Right.
We only co-produce when we are involved at all.
Yeah.
But, like we program 49 weeks of the year. A lot of it is rentals.
Yeah.
And then we do a bunch of co-proing. And in those scenarios, occasionally I am the production manager in those productions. But otherwise, I'm just kind of aiding someone else that either the company that's coming in and co-proing the show with us has brought along, or we've looked to someone like Pip to help us out, and I'm working alongside her.
So is it sort of a hands, like the distance there? Because presumably you manage your own productions.
Yes.
That makes you a production manager. And then if you're the co-pros that come into your space, you're giving them money, you're giving them schedules and time, and maybe calling crew? But there's probably...
it's actually kind of funny, and I often call crew for rentals as well.
Right.
Because we're a new idiosyncratic venue.
Mm-hmm. So you know how many people are needed for...
Exactly, yeah. I work with production managers hand in hand to make sure they have, or at least have an idea of the number of people they need and who from the list is going to be good for that.
Okay. So DOP, you'd say, is a little bit more hands-off, a little bit more long-term.
Certainly.
Right.
And it depends largely on the scale of the company.
Yeah.
Like Soul Pepper, Can Stage, COC, they would all
They
have
all have
DOPs.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the mid-level.
And you would say that, is it still Jeff?
Jeff Cummings?
Yeah.
No, he left. He went to Shaw.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
He's a director of planning at Shaw, so I don't really know.
So he's a DOP.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't work in production. He works in kind of out of the artistic director's office.
Even longer term.
Helping them do serious planning, which is
Like
super cool.
The viability of shows.
I guess, and 5-year, do we want to get together with this company in many years?
Right. Okay, well, let's talk small scale for a second in terms of crossover between PM and TD. Like when you're working as a tiny, renting out the theater center or something like that, or the storefront theater for whatever. Like how much do the lines blur there? Because presumably you're not going to be able to afford both a PM and a TD at that kind of scale. Like, are you expected to be both?
Yeah.
I have yet to work on a show where they've hired a TD. So you are the PM TD.
Right, and so you're just expected to pick all that up and then...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if your title is only production manager, it's implied that there isn't anyone else to fulfill that role.
And then how do you... this is a delicate question, because it's implied because you know there's nobody else, or it's implied because they just say, we need you to make this go?
I don't know if it's implied because it's the nature of independent theater at the moment in this city, or if it falls down to budget. Maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe it's about educating the companies that you're working for about what the benefits of hiring a production manager and a technical director are, and how that might serve them better.
Right.
I think it's a weird cocktail of all of those things.
And so what happens when there's something that you're expected to know that you just kind of don't? Is there ever leeway to hire a specialist projection person, for instance, or is it? Do you hire your way out of that mess, or do you?
Depends on the budget.
Right.
You can. If you don't know, you ask someone who does.
Right.
Phone calls,
You just call. You call someone.
For sure.
Like, hey, trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
What do I do?
For sure.
You got to start early in the beginning, telling them what you're no good at.
Yeah.
I often, I did a next stage show, the last show I did, and I basically started by saying all the things I wasn't willing to do before I said what I was willing to do. And this is just me learning how to defend my own life, because shows take over my life and they take over all of our lives.
For sure.
And that's kind of a good thing, but you have to start really early and be like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. I know a bunch of people working in the city who don't have driver's licenses. This blows my mind.
I actually...
Kevin, you didn't get your G1 today.
Not today. I got my G1 last week.
Nice.
Yes. It's only... 16 years late. It's all good. Yes, Pip.
I had a question. Actually,
Yes.
I know that at least two of you on the panel do a lot of design work, as well as production management work. I don't know about Eleanor and Ryan, if you really do that kind
I'm
of
a
thing.
terrible designer.
I know, me too, but people keep trying to make me. And I know that, and I wanted to ask, I guess, because we're talking a lot about, being PMs and being asked to be your own TD. When you are hired as a designer, do people often expect you to be your own PM?
Yeah, I just closed a show where there was neither a PM nor a TD. And I made a real strong effort to be neither.
Did it hurt?
It hurt a little bit, and it was occasionally freeing and wonderful. And then on strike, it was awful.
Right.
Then on strike, it was awful.
Fair
And
enough.
I had to stay hours later than I thought I would. But, that's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. You ever fallen into the trap? Because there's a bunch of people who are LDs, but there's also a bunch of people who are LD, PM, TD, video designer, doing everything for a show just because, you like it. You ever fallen into that trap?
Certainly I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And I think in those 3 or 4 times that I've done that in the past 6 or 7 years, I've led myself to that trap.
Amazing.
I've been so excited about the work that we're doing and so understanding that the producers just have zero money, that, I'm eating the gummies all the way to the trap, and I'm like, yeah, here we go. and then I find myself in it, and I'm like,
God, yeah.
This is what I thought it would be.
Well, we should come back
collectives?
to. A couple of them were, yeah, certainly, yeah.
Well, because I want to get in on this, but yes, please.
With regard to the no TD or PM, what would your argument be for someone who doesn't necessarily have production knowledge, who is producing a small show, saying, I don't need a PM or a TD?
You do.
Yeah.
But why?
So I would make friends with someone who is, and pick their brain very briefly about your show, because in any style of production, unless it's quite literally happening on a street corner, and even then, there's certain considerations to make. Lots of them, actually.
Possibly more, yeah.
Yeah. There's just things that you're not going to think about in the same way that I don't understand direction behind blocking and all kinds of character work. A lighting plot, a sound plot, a video plot, the interconnectivity of those systems and their queuing is ultra important, and to make things go smoothly, you just need those people.
If you're renting a venue and you're meeting with the venue technician and they ask you a series of questions that you can't answer, that's a good reason to have a PM or a TD.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, I think you can get a lot of free advice out of people. So if you've decided you're going to spend $1,000 and you want a set or something, and you're going to spend $500 of that money on your set, if you hire me to do your set, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of extra help and advice and ask you a bunch of questions. There's a lot of people and a lot of companies in the city who are paying to have sets built by YPT, by Production Canada, and they basically PM the set portion for you.
Yeah.
So if you pay them enough money, or you pay them what it costs, and you say, I want you to show up on this day and I want you to put the whole set together, they'll do that. I'll do that. You'll do that. People will do that. So you don't need a production manager for that section if that's your whole thing. Say you're just doing a thing and you just need some stuff. Yeah. You don't want any.
Totally, yeah. Well, because I've always made the peace of mind argument, right? Whereas, if you are, it doesn't matter how big the show is, it's going to be big to you, right? It matters. It's important to you. And why do you want to worry about how it gets to the theater? Why do you want to worry about driving it to the space? Why do you want to worry about scheduling? Why do you want to worry about all this stuff when you can just pay a person to worry about all that stuff? Then you can concentrate on the things that excite you about the show. Yeah. And that's particularly with rentals and smaller scale stuff. It pays you in hours of sleep and peace of mind. Yeah. And eventually it makes your show better because you're concentrating on fewer things, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I would love to add is that that's one of the reasons why we started this kind of organization, is because we are happy to be a resource for those kind of questions.
Yes.
So if you have those kind of questions, you can always email us at thebellowstoronto@gmail.com or get in touch with us through our Facebook page, The Bellows. And we are happy to tell you for instance, when you just need a production manager to stop bugging me.
Totally. Yeah. Sheila?
I think, so full disclosure, I work with Associated Designers of Canada, and I do sometimes speak with young producers who are convinced that they need neither production manager nor perhaps even a designer. This is something that I usually try to talk them out of, not only because it's my job, because it's just too damn hard to watch. But I think the argument that I use that is the most convincing is the issue of simultaneity. If you are in the rehearsal hall, who's picking up the live chickens? If
Chicken's got to get there somehow.
That whole issue of having things that need to be done at the same time, particularly if that young director is also producing for the first time and are trying to do their own publicity as well, right? So how do they answer those publicity calls when they're in the rehearsal hall?
For sure, simultaneity is a great argument. Like if you have a lot of hats to wear, you should have a few extra heads as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just adding to that, if I'm a stage manager, and if I work for a really, really small company, and a lot of the times, like, I'm happy to help and do extra stuff, but I'm in rehearsal all day for 8 hours a day. So, like, what am I to do? I'm like, okay, great. These are all the requests coming out of rehearsal. I'll put them in notes and send them to...
Amazing.
Like, nobody's taking care of it. And, like, great. I'll pop by the dollar store after rehearsal. Oh, surprise, it's closed. I can't help you. I need somebody to give that information to. Like, I can keep track of what needs to happen, but that stuff needs to happen during the day while the rehearsal is happening.
For sure.
So, same deal.
It's funny, those both points, which talk about, being somebody to go facilitate things. When is a production manager a PA? A production assistant? So you're talking about picking up rehearsal props or fixing things or running errands. That's a part of the role of production manager, especially in independent theater. But I wouldn't say that is what a production manager can really give to a show.
For sure.
And I think sometimes that line gets blurred between an independent PM and a PA. Because a good production manager can help facilitate all those things, but they can also shape your entire production in a way that will make everything else easier for you.
Definitely. Well, it's about making sure things get done instead of doing the things.
And not even making sure things get done, it's how can we make them get done better?
For sure.
Yeah. For every department. How can you make this rehearsal process?
Oh, Mike fell off. Just when you're expressing beautiful thoughts.
So just
a
little.
Yeah. Now, these are symptomatic of smaller scale shows, as we were talking about.
But the only small scale shows I know about are co-ops.
Okay.
Or are there funded, government-backed shows that are choosing not to hire production managers?
Well, I guess so. I've also run into we are fresh out of school and,
Certainly,
Right,
yeah.
but they're not.
We don't know any better.
They don't have any money.
Yeah,
because they haven't written a grant, and the government hasn't given. Like we're only talking about not-for-profit theater, right? That's the only thing I have. It's the only theater that there is, really.
Yeah.
And so the only every show that I've ever worked on as a hired production manager, and I've gotten a fee in the thousands of dollars range.
Yeah.
Has been for a company that has money, and the government gave them a check, and now they have the money.
Right.
I don't know anybody who is hiring a PM who is a co-op, who is like, we have no money, we're not going to put up any money, we're just going to make a share of the box office. So the 4 people or 5 people we have in the room, we'll divide up the tasks. And why would we hire an extra person? Because then we have to divide up the money.
I'm sure there's somebody in this room who's worked as a PM for a co-op. I'm looking at you, Chris Ross. Is that true? Yeah.
Definitely.
Right on. So, and did you have to twist their arm?
For in terms of
to hire a production dude.
Yeah. I think oftentimes it's been.
You can come up to the mic and then we would hear your thoughts.
I think oftentimes when I found myself in that situation, it's been for companies who I know a lot of people on, and they're at the level where they're like doing a show in the backspace or they're doing a show at Storefront. So they're like, they got a little tiny bit of money, but they don't yet think they need a production manager.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing where I'm like, you're my friends, and I know what's going to happen when you go into this show without a production manager. Please, for the love of God. And sometimes it's like, okay, we'll throw you a couple $100 or whatever.
Right.
I've also done shows where I'm getting an honorarium and everybody else is getting a cut of the box, which then turns out to not really be anything.
Right.
But yeah, I've definitely worked co-pros or, worked profit shares or whatever. Do you want a beer, Rem? Do you want to have a beer?
Here we go.
And Caitlin and Ryan.
Can everybody have a beer?
Oh,
Yeah.
I would also take a beer.
beer.
Everybody.
Four beers. Four beers.
It's actually, because I'm already up here, I actually had a question.
Doesn't matter. A beer.
Just 'cause I'm already standing here, I had a question for you guys. Just because I think, and segues into perhaps sort of the type of companies I've worked with and the level of productions I've worked with. But if we're talking about why you should hire a production manager, one thing I want to talk about is safety. Because I think a lot of what my job has been is, other than budgets and schedules, has been saying, no, you definitely can't do that. Or like, here's a way to do that better without hurting yourselves.
Totally.
Or like, you can't light a bonfire in the Storefront Theatre. Here's a bucket for you. Like stuff like that.
Right.
How much is safety a part of your job, and how would you suggest younger PMs learn how to make things safe for their productions?
You looking at me?
Yeah, you want to take this?
Okay. On individual productions, it's basically myself and the TD who are responsible for the specifics of the safety of the set, the actors, and that kind of thing. We have a fairly extensive, backing where if we say, no, we can't do fire, and there's no question asked. For me specifically, it is the added element of being responsible for the fire safety systems in the theater. We just had our fire inspection this morning.
Yeah, I tested all the alarms.
Yes, it went well.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And having gone through a fairly extensive inspection process from the fire department a couple of years ago, which was traumatizing and
expensive.
Totally.
That is something that I have to always be aware of in the building as I walk around. What rules are we breaking this time? What is Zoltan going to catch us on this week? Yes.
Zoltan's the best. Yeah. Zoltan specifically told us we can never prop open any doors ever.
Yep.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal.
You're allowed to if you're moving things through it.
No,
No,
you're not.
you have to hold
A
it
person
open.
has to hold that
Yep.
door.
Anyway.
You cannot prop open a door with a wedge.
That's what the
you
fire
can't do
marshal
it.
told me.
Well, he's
Fire marshal.
He's
There are
against
many
Zoltan.
fire marshals.
Different
He's against
stations,
Zoltan.
different captains, different interpretation of the code.
Yeah,
Weird.
different guy, different day. If he's had a donut
Our guy,
or no donut.
yeah. Our guy also said there is just no live flame on stage. Period.
Yep.
End of story.
End of story.
Yeah, which
There's
is crazy.
no legislation that says that. There's no guidelines that say that. There's no regulations that say that.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part, I used to be a construction worker. My favorite part about reading building codes was it says, or jurisdiction having authority in the first 3 sentences.
Yep.
And so you just have to ask everything, which is a drag. But,
And then as it relates to, full-time employees, Kevin being one of them, that's one of the most important things of the job. And if someone comes and says, I don't feel safe, then of course you have to listen to that. So it's, confusing and multifaceted, but there you go.
Now, Ram, because I know I read the posting for your position when it was posted.
Yeah.
Initially may have applied for it, may have not have. Let's not talk about it. But because familiarity with building code was specifically in that posting,
Certainly.
as far as I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of familiar with the OBC as well as the fire code, mostly because of my brother. He's a fire systems analyst and consultant.
Right on.
And so when his own,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he has his own firm. I'll give you his card. He's excellent.
Great.
And quite literally, he's like a gold mine to me. I call him up whenever I have an issue, and he's been great explaining things to me, and at least just like giving me sections to read. And so
You said quite literally though, so it means you have to go down a mile, and it gets really hot, and you got to swing a pickaxe.
That's true, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. And so, yes, I've been doing a lot of learning in the OBC and had a lot of interesting arguments with the architect when we were completing renovations of the theater center. I started my job about 8 months out from opening, and the building was like a year away from being done. And so, yeah, there were a lot of interesting conversations about like, what is furniture? What is fixture? What is, like, is a riser system a permanent installation, or is it furniture, or like what the hell is really the difference? So it's been a really steep and interesting learning curve as far as Ontario Building Code goes.
Cool. Now, in terms of the freelance world, like when you walk into a new venue, like how much does that consume your brain? How am I going to make this safe for human beings so they inhabit?
I don't really care.
That's for the venue guy to worry about, right?
Really, it's the venue's problem.
Venue guy, yeah.
Legislation puts all the responsibility in the venue.
Totally.
This is why people are doing co-ops. This is why people don't want venues. This is why we have, I don't know, 10 times as many theater companies as we have theaters.
You don't think that's just expense? You think it's a liability issue?
But those are one and the same. If you're going to have a liability, then you have to hire people like this who make sure that it's safe and the liability is mitigated, and you have to pay insurance. So when I do it, like, when I do an indie show, I shouldn't be paying employees. That would kind of be sketchy if I was working at Tarragon and I had like 8 guys that I brought with me in a car and they were invoicing me. If they get hurt, the Ministry of Labor doesn't give a shit. They're going to go after you guys. They're always going to go after the venue.
That's where the money is. That's where they'll get the money.
And that's where the responsibility is. And the responsibility lands with the people with the money on purpose. It's Walmart CEO's job to make sure everyone in Walmart is safe. Just because we don't have nearly as much money as them doesn't mean the responsibility is not the same. So
that's a good way to put it.
That's why this venue, and that's why like Factory, who don't have a lot of production happening in their spaces as compared to rentals, they have there's a lot more onus on the house techs and the TDs, which they've started calling the same thing, to defend the venue and make sure people don't get hurt.
Right.
Because that's like a co-op can just fold, all the people can go home. Like, yeah, you can fine me like 10 grand. I'm probably not going to be able to pay it. So the Ministry of Labor is not going to do anything to me.
Right.
I have a higher level of liability because I went to theater school, because I have a number of years of experience, so that increases my liability. But if you're a group of 5 or 6 artists who've never done a show and have no experience, the government's not going to put any responsibility on you when something happens.
Right.
So venues really should have people there protecting their venue.
Yep.
Because the rental people don't have to do that.
Can I just mention something about that as well? I'm closer. That's true, except if there's nobody to go to tell them, if there's nobody to go to tell that something is wrong, you remain responsible for it. And honestly, the government doesn't care if you can pay. They're still going to fine you $25,000 for a safety infraction if someone gets injured. And if there's no production manager there to go, hey, this thing is broken, could you fix it? Then you're responsible.
Interesting.
So it's important to have somebody who can fix it in charge to allay that liability.
And you got to find a way to mitigate that liability as a freelance production manager with a company who's renting a space.
Yeah.
Because he's right. The onus will fall on the person calling themselves manager or production manager, even if they're getting paid $500. They'll be the ones who have to answer first before the producer or the director. You're right.
Most importantly, the worker is responsible as well. Like if the worker sees that there's a fire hazard, and you know that they saw it, and they didn't tell anybody, or there's no one to tell, then the worker is responsible, and they're going to get fined. And it doesn't matter who that is, the PA, the stage
manager, the actor, that doesn't matter. They're going to get fined.
Yeah,
For sure.
in my very limited experience, just pretty much everyone involved is going to be named in any kind of suit. From worker to manager to CEO, everyone gets named. And there's kind of a sliding scale of what the fine is.
Exactly.
Right.
Or jail time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably have a whole separate
Heavy.
safety bellows. Yeah, we should probably have a whole separate safety thing.
Safety
Yeah.
bellows would be great.
Safety bellows.
And that's like that's actually one of my favorite parts of being like a PM, TD, designer,
It's crushing
doer of
people's
things.
dreams because.
Well, no, but it's like it's in those very first few conversations where the creative person's like, "Yo, I want a pendulum car." It's a car, but it's a pendulum, and you're like, "Great! How much money do you have?" And they're like, $45. You know, like how do you do something like that that's remotely safe and looking cool and being the thing that they want, and all those like interesting, weird conversations about what to do with that.
Let's jump on that because we've been talking about just various scales of shows, and it doesn't matter what scale of show you're talking about. There's not enough money.
Ever.
So
Never, ever.
What the hell? There's not enough money. What are you going to do?
Be creative.
Hide it.
That too.
Rethink it.
Rethink it?
Rethink it.
Yeah?
Borrow.
Yeah? Do you have a strategy for...
Call your friends.
Yeah.
Remember everything that you saw the last time you went into someone's storage unit?
Right.
Furious note-taking.
Yeah. Furious note-taking.
Every call is basically just looting.
Yeah.
Like pre-looting.
You're just, every time you go to work in a new place, you're just casing the joint.
Yeah.
Seeing what they got.
basically.
Right. What's your delicate strategy for telling director wants 16 white stallions running in place on a giant treadmill?
I'm great at saying no with a smile on my face.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Or like it just can't it can't happen.
Yeah.
Or we need to think about ways to downscale it.
Right.
Can they be paper puppets?
I think
I would
the
love
best
that.
You know?
is to try and figure out the intention behind it. Like, what is the effect that you want? Treadmills? Horses? Like, how do they go together? That kind of thing.
Right. Huh.
Rather than like just going head on into no.
Not how
That's
to
why I'm
make
not a good
this
PM.
cheaper, or what is the effect, like, but why do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Essentially, why do you want this grand, stallions on treadmills?
Right.
And usually, once you figure out why that is, what the purpose is for the show, then it opens up a whole other, chest of possibilities.
Just say video, right? We'll do everything with video.
I don't think that's my...
Cameron Davis is very busy.
That's true.
I don't think it's my job as a production manager to tell the director no.
Yeah.
It's the
Really?
designer's job, whose department is responsible for that effect, to talk to the director about their decisions. I've successfully production managed shows with Nina Aquino where we didn't speak. Really, like the first 3 shows we did together, we had a weird relationship. It went great. Like, we did great stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't have to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to me. She had competent designers who really knew her ideas and her process, that they created the show and ideas together, and they would come to me with their needs, and I would come back with what I thought I could pull off.
Right.
So I don't like talking to the director.
And I think this relates back to the safety issue, but if you have to say no because of a safety issue or a fire concern or anything like that, knowing at least where to find that information is your best defense. No, I'm sorry, we can't block this exit because of this.
Just say something millimeters, right?
OBC point, whatever.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Throw crazy terms.
Amazing. Yeah.
Where do you guys find yourself in the role of production manager as an artistic collaborator in the process? And how do you feel that it's, well, however you would define that? To me, like what you were just speaking about recently being like a second ago, but it's a certain kind of dramaturgy, a certain kind of production dramaturgy that you're influencing. For example, you want treadmill or horse, right? Like, what is the effect? So how do you view yourself in that? And do you ever find that you have to draw a line between whether it's one box or the other? Or can you work in a larger picture of collaborating artistically while still maintaining the necessary safety protocols, necessary, like, pretty much everything you have to do and I'm speaking on behalf of like both as an artist and as a production manager, so with that understanding. But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the liminal space of that line there.
I have a long or complicated relationship with the AD at Tarragon, and he will come in to my office often and talk artistically about what he sees for the shows he's directing. And sometimes it's budget driven and sometimes it's designer driven, but we can talk in a more collaborative way about if he is looking at some effect, who is the best designer to achieve that? At what point do we switch over and it becomes a video land or a paint kind of designer. So that is kind of a long-term relationship that we've built. It doesn't happen often, and doesn't happen automatically. And then with individual directors, it varies totally on the type of director and the type of designer that you're working with. It's often like, no, your budgets and schedules, and then sometimes it's, well, we want to do this crazy effect, and what do you think? And more collaborative.
Yeah, I think something that Kaitlin brought up is like upholding others' intentions is the big thing. Kind of being able to understand and decode artists' intentions and their hopes, and then coming up with like real pragmatic solutions for those is the most important thing. And whether, you're right. Obviously, our solutions will have implications into the aesthetics and to the kind of final vision. And so, it's up to not being married to any of your ideas and just hoping that something that you say is going to land with your artistic team and that they'll back that. Both the thing that is possible is also the thing that they'll want. Like we can achieve this, no problem. We can do this. Is this what you want? And hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, you have to continue working together to try to figure something that'll accommodate everybody, or that'll accommodate the most.
You gotta have like you said, you gotta have a really good understanding of what they want.
Yeah.
It's not about what I want. Often when I'm building things or managing things, people are like, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't want to be doing this right now. Like, so
I want people to be safe.
Sure.
Yeah, like that's what I want.
So a lot of the time I find myself asking a lot of leading questions to figure out what it is that they want. Because a lot of artists will talk to me in non-specific terms and in emotional terms or harder to visualize terms. So I ask a lot of questions and try to ask leading questions. Oh, and then what happens? And then what happens? And then what happens? And then what happens? Okay. And then I start to kind of get a picture in my head of what they're trying to do, and then I can do a better job at helping make that happen. But if I don't know what you want and you don't know how to communicate what you want, you're not putting anything on stage.
Yeah. Right.
I think production dramaturgy is a really beautiful
That's a
phrase.
cool word.
Yeah. Super good.
Speaking as someone who does a lot of freelance, more and more specific directors will come to me because that's the kind of relationship that we have and is useful and they really enjoy. I might not be building the set physically myself, which some other people might be capable of, but production dramaturgy is a strength. And so some more wilder pieces, especially new work, which is sometimes really tricky to be a part of, I find myself doing a lot of. I think it's because of that.
Yeah, awesome.
Right on. Excellent question.
Trademark that.
I really like production dramaturgy, actually.
Yeah.
So speaking of strengths, like what do you think makes a good PM? Now, I know you've all got different styles and whatever, but what do you really like that you bring to the table?
What makes a good PM?
You got to be able to pull gear out of your ass.
Okay.
Literally. Literally. We need a computer right now.
Really, literally?
Sorry. Well, no, literally.
Figuratively.
I've tried. I've done the
figuratively.
gesture that I'm trying to do it, and then pull really hard and it's not coming, so we can't have that gear.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to make things appear out of nowhere. That's at least what I like and get the most satisfaction out of is like, oh yeah, you said that thing, I just made it show up.
Right. So you mean connections?
moment?
You mean deep pockets? You mean secrets? You mean skeletons in other people's closets that you know about? Do you mean like, what is that?
Yeah, you got to be connected. You got to work at I don't know how to be a production manager and not work at a theater with money and resources.
Right.
Because I just take the money and resources from my production company, and my theater company that do shows.
Share the wealth. Yeah.
I think Ryan said possibly the most important thing is that right off the top he was saying what he's not good at and what he's not willing to do. And so like I can, speaking for myself, I can bring a little bit of lighting knowledge, video, carpentry, and then everything else, I'm happy to give you all the knowledge I do have, but we're going to have to talk to outside sources. I'm going to have to give people some calls and get some information and try to figure shit out because I don't really know. And kind of being comfortable and self-aware of your own strengths and your own weaknesses is like right off the top huge.
Right on.
And I think in my situation, I bring none of those to the table. But what is most important is actually knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your team. And I'm not going to be in the shop building beside Kevin because it would be disaster. But I know, the department, and I know, a lot of the designers we work with, and so knowing who's comfortable doing what and knowing, when to help, when to step in and how to make it go forward.
For sure.
I think like finding things, having the right gear, doing a good budget, being clear, those are all hard skills that any PM needs to have.
Yeah.
But above and beyond that, engaging with every single person involved, communicating clearly, being sensitive to people in the room, understanding what the piece is about. Like those are things that make a really great PM and a great leader, right?
Yeah.
So I think those are almost more important skills to have because you have to be able to schedule and budget and crew and find the gear.
Kind of the bare minimum.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Awesome. Well, I want to pick on sort of origin stories, just to change tacks. Because I first met you, Rem, when you were the projection designer on a Humber show at like a Fringe.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Our Asylum.
Yes, I love the hell of that show.
Yeah. That was some of my best work.
And how did you end up in management?
I really meandered my way there. I did years of little bits of production or projection design here and lighting design there, supplemented with slinging a wrench, being a camera operator, and actually, I guess production management in film and low budget TV stuff like web series.
Yeah.
And I did kind of all that stuff freelance for about 5 or 6 years, and then Ray Salverda called me up out of the blue while I was working at Tarragon and said, "Hey, do you want to manage the Theatre Centre?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. Yes, I would like that."
Fantastic.
And that's how I got my first full-time job. And until then, I had just been kind of like piecemealing my way through, theater, film, TV.
Right. So can I write down broad base?
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Really just covering all, like I did some scenic work and carpentry at Blythe, and then house techie, and then sound stuff and sound design, and did a couple production designs for teeny tiny shows.
Yeah.
And just kind of piecemealed my way to running a venue now.
Yeah. So you come from Ottawa way?
No, I'm from Hamilton, actually. I decided, because I had gone to theatre school for stage management, and I decided in my second year that actually, no, PM was more the route that I wanted to go. So I got a job as the APM at GCTC in Ottawa when I graduated. And then I was there for 3 years, and then I ended up here in Toronto.
Awesome.
Nice.
Amazing.
Do it.
You guys want to find it out?
Cami Koo basically did a show at Ryerson when I was in 4th year, and then she was like, "You're all right, you want to do a show with Fujian?" And then I did all right, and then she was like, "We're doing another show," and then she was like, "I heard that Soul Pepper needs a carpenter," So she really like.
So Kamiku bullied you into where you are now?
Not bullied me, no. Like opened doors for me, let me, helped me, mentored me a little bit. Like was just like super.
Awesome.
Big cheerleader, and was like just telling people I was good. And
Amazing.
that's really all I needed. And then people were like, oh, okay. Well, if she says he's all right, then we'll give him a shot.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah, for young folks, that's like the best thing you can have.
Yeah.
Someone with
the endorsement of specifically Kamiku.
Or just someone with some real experience and some real talent.
And who
just
needs
saying,
help and needs work.
Yeah.
Like if she had a full-time gig at a big theater and she came and helped us out at Ryerson, it wouldn't have been as great. But because she was doing indie shows that needed help immediately and multiple shows in a season that needed help, I was able to fill some of those voids. And then people were like, oh, okay, well.
Right on.
I graduated from NTS, and then I came here and basically just said yes to whatever job was presented to me.
Right on.
And
you didn't have to hunt anything
I
down?
didn't, no. So,
Decent.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly, I think production management is kind of the thing that finds people, which is
when you're
bizarre.
Good. When you're good.
Yeah.
People
Because
will
I certainly
call
never
you.
applied for any PM gigs, but I got a few.
Mm-hmm.
They don't post them.
No. No, they generally just say, I have this much money. Will you please make my show happen?
Working culture costs $75.
Yeah, that's true.
So why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's not worth the money.
It's like 10% of my fee.
What she said.
Yeah, it's true. Yes.
I have a sort of open-ended question just to comment on.
Perfect.
I found recently it's really exciting that more and more women are becoming production managers. This is something that I had never even considered that as a job when I was younger. Not that I went to theater school, but had I been in theater school, I would have looked out into the world and seen no women doing this job. But it's really exciting to me that people like Kaitlin and Eleanor and Pip and a lot of people in this room are working in that field. So I want to ask about whether gender enters into your work environment, depending on where you're working. And I also want to talk about just mention the fact that there are very, very, very few production managers in this city who aren't white. I'd love to ask if you have any thoughts about that. About maybe it's not the time to talk about why that is, because I feel like that's a very big question. But whether that's something that enters into your considerations when taking a contract with maybe a very culturally diverse company where you might be the only person who is not part of that group, or how that factors into your decision making when taking contracts and when working with a company.
That's a cool question, actually. I think if I can just head this, I always thought it was really cool when I started working at Tarragon that most of the crew were ladies. Yeah. And so it just kind of seemed natural that Eleanor would production, it didn't even enter into my thinking. And also that one of the PM gigs I ended up doing was for an Obsidian Harold Green Jewish Theatre Company co-pro. And it never occurred to me that was a thing until I had to hire light walkers, and it was like, oh, okay, this is actually a thing. But yeah, now that you mention it, yeah.
I think gender politics do play a role. Not always negative, not always positive, but it's there. I do share an office with 2 boys, so that kind of sucks. And on the admin side, it's all women, which is odd, and often very delightful, because then it's Richard Rose and a bunch of women, and he gets bullied out of the room. But I think in my experience, what I would like to see along that road is actually more TDs who are women. I think that's still a bit of catching up that needs to happen.
For sure.
I don't know much to say.
You don't know much to say. Fair enough.
Yeah, gender plays a role, negatively, positively. It's there. It's hard to speak to that because it can be very subtle, and Yeah, I don't know, like, other than to agree, like, there's not much else to say in, like, without it becoming a larger forum for discussion.
Yeah.
Which would be
Right.
interesting, which would be very interesting.
Yeah, and something we think we're going to need to tackle eventually.
Yeah. In terms of why I became a PM, I mean, gender politics. Andrea Lundy is like a huge #1 influence, and she is like a rock star, and she's a lady. To your other point, I just opened a show with Obsidian.
Great show.
It was a good show. Why diversity isn't, why that isn't the case in production management is not just the issue. Why isn't the case in designers and directors and the shows we do and the TDs? So, yeah. I don't know if I have an answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I think about. Something I always think about.
Yeah, I just find myself considering that a company can make a point of hiring a designer or an actor or someone who matches the mandate of the show that they're trying to produce. But that's not always possible with production managers. You can't always say, hey, Obsidian Theatre Company, let's try to make a point of hiring a production manager of color. Or I just think it's interesting to consider that that's not even an option necessarily.
There was an option we tried working on at Fujian, my second show, I think. I went to school with a guy named Eric Chan. He doesn't do any theater anymore. I think he does corporate stuff or whatever. But he's Asian. And Richard Lee, who was the general manager at the time, was like, it's great that you want to work with us, but you're not Asian. So we want you to do the show. We want you to probably do the next show. But like, would you be willing to mentor Eric, this guy that we know of who's come to a couple of our events, who's Asian and has production experience, and we would rather him be our full-time or a lifetime or invested in you person because he's Asian and it's an Asian theater company. And I was totally fine with that. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And he was my assistant on the show. I used and abused him like a good
like you do, yeah.
mentee does to an assistant. And he busted ass kind of and didn't like it and didn't want to do it and was like, we didn't really give him some sort of structured like you're gonna get this if you do this and he just didn't really impress that much and he didn't want to do it. So but we tried and they openly said to me when they were interviewing me like, you're not Asian and we're going to work really hard to find people who are Asian. Do you know anyone who's Asian? And we had frank, silly conversations about like, do you know any Asian stage managers? And I would go like, I'm like, I know Neha, she's Indian. And they're like, yeah, okay. Like, that's better. And Nina, obviously, she was in the newspaper this week about this because she would rather hire someone who's competent and not white than someone who's equally as competent and white. And I'm totally fine with that. Like, I get lots of opportunities. Obviously, the 5 of us have had enough opportunity that we're up here. I'm glad that we get to acknowledge that we're all white, and the majority of the people in the room are white. And we have to keep acknowledging that. And I don't know how to fix it. That was one way to fix it. But I don't know if not taking jobs or quitting or, finding, I don't think that helps. So I don't know what does. But having leaders like Nina who demand coming up with ideas and thinking creatively about how the hell are we going to do this is important.
Well, and having a community like this is becoming a community to meet other people who are interested. And then I know on a daily basis, I'm like, I can't do this, but I would recommend this person, this person, this person, and this person. And then having an opportunity to meet more people who are interested, who might be more suitable for those companies, is a fantastic way to use both this and to,
So you're saying that maybe the Bellows can help us solve our diversity problem?
Maybe it
There you
can.
Sorry, I had to plug that.
Well, any opportunity where you get a group of people together that, some are new, some aren't, of course it can.
Yeah. Right on.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have a little time left, but Chris clearly has a question.
I'm going to ask one more question because first I was going to say we've got a little tiny bit of time left. So I think that was an awesome question that I think should become part of the greater conversation we have.
Yeah, good luck topping that one. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeez. As we're at the bar, that's a great conversation to continue. There's another question that I have that might be a conversation to continue that we can't answer right now. But because I said I'd ask, without using the phrase the state of production management in this city, why do you think there are a smaller pool of production managers than perhaps is necessary? And how do you think we encourage future, our younger theater makers to become production managers and to go down that path? How do you think we cultivate that future generation when we're all old and decrepit?
Right on.
I think the best thing that I did was actually, get a full-time position right out of school, but as the assistant production manager for a well-established company. But those positions are very few. And so I think something that as an institution, I can certainly strive for, and hopefully others, is to create those positions. As an assistant, you learn by doing and you learn by watching, but you don't get that experience in school because it's never going to be the real thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Giving young people the opportunity to help you put out fires is a great way to get people into production management. It's one of the most interesting and rewarding things to, in the moment, a day before opening, figure out a problem, solve a problem, help people make excellent art happen. And when young folks, either new to the industry or interested in getting into the field, can get a taste of that, that's what hooked me, was just getting that opportunity to help someone figure out a problem and help their art happen. Super rewarding, super fun.
I would prefer to recommend someone than to triple book myself. And I think that's a great way to have people start, is recommend someone, don't take the gig, and then not be there.
Right on.
I think we have to find a way to bite the bullet and split our fee. It's the only way. I don't know any producer. I've never talked to a producer where I've been like, it's great that you want to give me $3,000. We got to pay my assistant $1,000. They're like, we're not doing that. There's no way. But I need to man up, and we all need to find a way, I think, to say, I can't do this. I don't want to do this for the whole fee. I don't have enough time. And it's kind of against your point, not really, but managing how much time you have and how many shows you take on. Yeah. Sometimes there can be a benefit in taking too many shows or 2 shows at once, because then you have to split your fee. You have to give an opportunity to a young person. And that's a great way for that person to learn. And I think that's a great way, at least for me. I'm not good at working alone. I don't come up with great ideas by myself in my bedroom. I come up with better ideas talking to people. So if I had someone to talk things out, it would be way better.
And just to take a quick step back, that's one of the absolute best reasons to have a PM and a TD. That kind of collaboration and that kind of just to have a real partner to bounce ideas off
Even
of.
if one's way more junior than the other.
Totally. It's just the best, figuring out those problems together is just ultra rewarding and fun.
I just want to plug a thing really quickly that I did. Here I am plugging Theatre Ontario. But years ago when I wasn't sure really if I wanted to be a stage manager or a production manager, a theater that I was apprenticing for said, hey, here's a way that you could learn about it. You should apply for Theatre Ontario's professional theater training program. So I did as an apprentice production manager, got to lay out exactly what I wanted to learn in discussion with the production manager who helped me create a program so that I could learn all the different parts of production management. And then I just said, I want to make, I don't know what it was, $500 a week or something for a, 5 or 6 week program. Applied to Theatre Ontario, got it in a second. And then I had the opportunity to learn while getting paid. And there's a ton of stuff out there like that people don't know about. And it's kind of a win-win situation because the person I was working for got some stuff taken off their plate. Whereas I was in a good position to learn from them and also not be put out a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. So do that. If you know a production manager, say, hey, contact them and say, I want to do this. You don't have to pay me. I've got this money. It's really easy to get, by the way. And I'll take the stuff off your plate. So there's you can take initiative if it's something that you want to learn. Tell people.
Amazing.
That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we're more or less out of time. Unless anybody has any more questions, please approach. Please approach.
Oh, I have no more questions. I was
All
just
right.
getting ready to close this
Cut
out.
me off? All right. Well, let's end with one more question. On closing, how do you leave everybody smiling?
Candy.
Brilliant.
Exceptionally hard work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? You just clean it all up for them? You sweep behind you and return everything?
I think people recognize hard work, and even if things don't go as planned, when everyone involved is trying their hardest to make it happen, there's a certain amount of camaraderie and enjoyment that everyone gets out, even when it's a bit of a failure.
Right on.
I take their work extremely to heart. I take myself very unseriously.
Right on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you have to be really professional, and you have to do and you can't bitch. That's one thing Bill Penner taught me when I was at Soul Pepper. I filled in as the ATD for a summer, and he was like, you're not crew anymore. He had to pull me aside after going oh, this fucking sucks. We got to carry all these risers. After work that day, he was like, you're not a stagehand anymore. You're not a crew person anymore. You're on the other side. You have to lead. You have to be positive. So if you're crotchety and bitchy and angry and like a stagehand, no one's going to want you to be their production manager.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Hope you learned something.
And that was our special presentation of The Bellows, Why You Need to Hire a Production Manager. The music for this podcast is by Vern Good, with voiceover by Gabriel Cropley. Please go to iTunes and give us a review, please. It'll help get the word out about this podcast and share the history of theatre design in Canada. And you can follow us on Twitter at TheTitleBlockCA and on Facebook.com/The Titleblock Podcast. You can send comments and requests by email to thetitleBlock@gmail.com. And don't forget that if you like the show, please support us on Patreon.com. I'm Michael Cruz, and I'll see you next time on The Title Block.